What's going on, GH fans? Eric here with the Port Charles podcast, and it is good to be back. It has definitely been a while, hasn't it? And, I've heard a lot from you lately about, Eric, where are you at? Are you coming back? Please tell us you haven't left. So I feel like before I kind of get started, I just kind of need to explain what happened a little bit. So it's the weirdest thing. Like, you're not going to believe this. So I went to this party, right? And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I woke up. I'm on this boat, right? And I have no idea where we're even going. There's like these couple of these young kids on there. There was some baby on the boat that was just crying all the time. I don't know how the baby got there. And then there was this older dude that was like, he would talk, and I'm like, dude, you what's with the accent? Like, I thought you were supposed to be Greek, but you sound British. So I don't know. That was just weird. I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, the boat explodes. I'm lost at sea and all this stuff. But I finally found my way back. No, I'm just kidding. No, in all seriousness, folks, I want to thank each and every one of you who have reached out over the last few weeks, kind of concerned about myself and the show and everything. And I want to thank each and every one of you for standing by me, first of all. And I'm happy to say that I believe during this time off, I've only lost like one subscriber, but I gained 3 or 4. So believe me, from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you for sticking by me, sticking by the show, expressing your concern for me. In all reality, I've just had so much going on lately. I actually work my job. I'm in sales. And when I first started this show at the beginning of the year, business was kind of slow. Things were just kind of like not really getting off the ground. Over the last month or so, things have really been kicking into gear. Been super busy at work. On top of that, helping to raise, my 1-year-old daughter. I've got an older daughter, a 9-year-old, as well, a new wife since St. Patrick's Day. And, we've been dealing with some stuff as well, some family issues that, I'm not really going to get into. But again, I just want to thank each and every one of you. I apologize for being gone for so long. This was never my intention. It's just one of those things that kind of got away from me a little bit. And, one week kind of turned into 2, which then just kind of snowballed into 3 and 4. And, I really felt like I needed to get this thing back on track. I needed to get back, into the swing of things, get back to normal, get back to my routine, get back to just watching the show, period. Missed a lot of episodes over the last several weeks, but I've been able to keep up. I've been able to go back and kind of watch some, kind of get a feel for what's going on. I will say this. I'm going to start off this show. We're going to talk about some news stuff first, but I really want to kind of talk about, as we get into what's going on the show, I really want to kind of dig into my issue that I'm having right now with the writers, and what I kind of think needs to happen going forward. But anyway, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking by me, sticking by the show, not jumping ship when you had every opportunity to, staying subscribed, staying with me. I promise I will not let you down going forward. I'm gonna grind this thing out. I'm gonna take care of my business, and I'm gonna get back to doing these shows on a weekly basis, even if there's not much to talk about. But I guess that will mean a lot less rambling on my part. So anyway, let's get into it. Of course, I have to start off with the sad news of finding out that Jackie Zeman passed away at age 70. This happened, I believe, a couple of weeks ago now. We're going on. And, right after, the passing of Sonny Eddy back in December, this is just another blow to the General Hospital family. And I immediately thought of, oh my goodness, she was just doing the Nurses Ball episodes. And it was so great to see Bobby Spencer back. And Jackie Zeman will definitely be missed. She's another one of those just legacy characters that you're never going to be able to replace. And, of course, I would have been remiss if I did not start my show off talking about that. She wasn't on as much as she used to be, but every time she was, she definitely made an impact. And I am so thankful, at least for her and her family, that she was able to star in those Nurses Ball episodes. that just aired last month. And for those of you who kind of know how things work, why we had such a delay between Sonya Eddy's passing and her tribute show had a lot to do with the fact that they taped several weeks in advance. So it's very hard for General Hospital to keep up with day-to-day current immediate happenings in situations like this. So it's going to take them several weeks. So be patient. You got to know that they're going to have a major tribute to Bobby Spencer on this show. And I can say right now, if you thought that the tribute to Sonya Eddy was emotional, you haven't seen anything yet. Jackie Zeman has decades of highlight reels that they're going to be rolling out with her tribute show. We got to add another one to the Wall of Fame to go up right next to Britt, right next to Epiphany. Bobby Spencer, a character that will definitely be missed, was always exciting to watch. And, you know, heart goes out to Jackie Zeman's family and friends, her co-workers. I'm sure this is a tough time for everybody, and we just want y'all to know that our hearts as the General Hospital fans, we're all with you 100%. So definitely not the way I wanted to start the show, but, you know, again, it was the only way I could start the show. And other news, we got some recasts here. Kristina has been recast with former Days of Our Lives Emmy winner Kate Mansi, who just showed up this past week. Not really sure why Lexi was recast. No reason that I could tell has really been given so far. So again, I can't really speculate. I don't think that it was a matter of like her getting fired, her doing anything wrong. You know, and I don't know why they would recast. Maybe it was just a scheduling thing. Maybe Lexi has things going on that she had to focus on and commit to that would have taken her away from shooting General Hospital. I don't know. So I'm not really going to speculate. We'll wait and see. I'm sure more will come out about this. It seems very sudden. So who knows? Who knows what the reason is? And I'm not going to sit here and speculate as to why it happened. All I'll say is I definitely enjoyed Lexi Ainsworth. A wonderfully talented young lady. Beautiful. Love seeing Kristina whenever she was in scenes. And we'll definitely miss her. But Kate Mansi so far, I mean, I've only seen her in like a couple of scenes so far, but hey, beautiful young lady. She seems okay so far. I'll definitely give her a chance. And from what I understand, there is supposed to be a pretty big storyline coming up featuring Kristina, which is why I almost think that maybe it was a scheduling thing with Lexi as to why they decided to permanently recast the role of Kristina Corinthos. Also, Ken Schreiner last week tweeted out that Scotty has been written out. No details, no further information than that. So, again, we don't know if this is one of those things where Scotty's been written out for good or if he's just being written out for the time being and he'll come back later. Hopefully, some more light can be shed on that going forward. Definitely with the legacy characters going away, I really hope that Scotty is not added to the list. Ken Schreiner, amazing actor, you know, have enjoyed him for years. And hopefully we have not seen the last of him and Scotty Baldwin on our televisions. So hopefully it's just a temporary being written out. Maybe he's going to go away for a little while and he'll come back down the line when they have something better for him. Another story I want to cover, and you'll have to bear with me on this one because this one's going to get a little emotional. When I first heard the original story, and I'll just say this. I read a story that Haley Pullos was being temporarily recast as Molly because she was involved in a car accident and she needed time to recover. And, of course, my first thought was, I hope she's okay. Hopefully she can come back. She can be 100%. You know, glad to hear that she's okay, and this is just a temporary recast. But earlier this week, and it may have even been late last week, more news came out about what actually happened here. And for those of you who don't know, Haley Pullos she was involved in a car accident, but it was one of her own doing. Apparently, according to TMZ, she was drunk, got behind the wheel of a car, drove down the road, crossed a barrier, hit another car, ran from the scene of the accident, went down the road, and hit another car head on. The passengers, drivers in that other vehicle, all I've read is that there were major injuries. Thankfully, no fatalities upon impact. So, thoughts and prayers go out to those that were in the car that Haley collided with. Hopefully, they'll make full recoveries and go home to their families. I do have to say, there's just no way to be soft or sensitive or politically correct about this in any way, shape, or form. When I read the story about what really happened, I got pissed off. I really did. I went from, I hope Haley's okay, to, how the hell could you do this? I mean, this isn't just, oops, I made a mistake. You drive drunk, you hit somebody, you flee the scene of the accident, and you go hit somebody else. And then apparently it took the jaws of life to get Haley out of her car. And when the first responders were trying to pull her from her car, she became belligerent and violent, attacking the first responders, screaming at them, cursing at them. I won't say what she was reported to have said to the first responders. We'll leave that. But to me, there's no excuse for this. There's absolutely zero excuse for this, and I have zero tolerance for it. I'm glad that she's okay. I'll say that. I don't wish any ill will on anyone. I don't want to see anyone get hurt in a car accident. I have lost someone that I loved to a car accident when they got hit by someone who was drunk and they killed them on impact. So this is a very sensitive subject for me and one that I have zero sympathy for whatsoever. And Haley is facing felony charges on this, as I agree she should. I believe 100% Haley should go to jail for this. And this isn't a matter of should she keep her job or should she not keep her job. Fire her ass. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that offends you, if that upsets you, if you don't agree with that. I'm not playing cutesy here. Haley needs to be fired at the very least. I think she needs to go to jail. For doing what she did, she needs to go to jail. Now, I'm not saying she needs to go for 20, 30, 50 years. No. But she needs to go to jail. She needs to pay for what she did. And come to find out a day or two after the accident, her dad picks her up, takes her to Taco Bell, and then goes and puts her in a $2,600 a week country club rehab facility. Okay? Apparently this country club has horseback riding and fishing and yoga and all this cushy stuff. And I seriously hope, I really hope Haley is taking this seriously. It does, just on the surface, it doesn't sound like she is. It sounds like this is one of those Hollywood celebrity, I'll check myself into rehab so that I don't get too much jail time when I have to go in front of the judge. So that I can go and say, hey, yeah, I really took this seriously. I immediately checked myself into rehab. I know I have a problem. I took care of it on my own. I went to rehab for 30 days, and I know I screwed up. And Your Honor, I am so sorry, and this will never happen again. And there's a slap on the wrist, and you're free to go. I pray that's not what happened. I pray that she takes this with the utmost seriousness that this deserves, because this is not a laughing matter. This is not a joke. This is real life. She could have killed people. That's how serious this is. Okay? And again, you don't have to agree with me on this. You can say, well, yeah, she screwed up, but she didn't kill anybody. So she's young. She made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. No. Cutesy time is done. When you drive drunk, hit somebody, run from the scene of the crime, of the accident, and go hit somebody else head on. Cutesy time is over at that point. Lock her up. Make her take this seriously. I don't think going to Malibu at some $2,600 a week country club rehab facility is taking it seriously. That's just my opinion. But as far as I'm concerned, as an actress, I think the world of Haley Pullos. I think she is a tremendous young actress, beautiful young lady, has the entire world in front of her and can accomplish so many great things. But when it comes to something like this, folks, I have zero tolerance and zero sympathy. She needs to be fired. Period. Full stop. She cannot keep her job over this. Apparently, they fired Tyler Christopher years ago for DWI or DUI, whatever he had. The same thing needs to happen to Haley. I know she's politically correct, and I know she aligns with a lot of the people at ABC television. There's got to be zero tolerance for something like this. I'm sorry, folks. You know, very rarely will I be this harsh towards somebody, and I don't believe in attacking actors for what they do on screen. I think that's the wrong thing to do ever, and you will not hear me say that. I believe if you're good enough to be on television, you are talented, period, point blank. You're talented. You deserve to be on television if you're on a television show like General Hospital. No issue with that whatsoever. If a character sucks, if a storyline sucks, that is not on the actor. 100%, in my opinion, you're only as good as what you're being given to work with, and that's the bottom line. So this is nothing to do with the character of the show. This has to do with the person, and I respect Haley Pullos' talent. I respect her ability, but I'm sorry, zero sympathy when it comes to this. She has to go. She has to lose her job over this, and she should go to jail. All right, folks, so now that we've kind of gotten through all the news, all the seriousness of things, and by the way, if you're still with me after the rant I just went on, I appreciate you 110%. So a lot has happened in the last, say, 30 days, right? I even had one viewer comment that here recently, and Eric, where have you been? A lot has happened in the last month. Like, where are you at? You know, we need to hear, from you about what's going on. Victor Cassadine is dead, folks. Like, wow, I was not expecting that. I knew they were writing themselves in a corner, but I didn't know how they were going to write themselves out of it. And hats off to Charles Shaughnessy for his portrayal of Victor Cassadine. Like, my God, that dude crushed it. And I was a huge fan of his, despite the fact that, like I said, he's a guy who sounds British and he's supposed to be Greek. Now, I've only heard maybe one or two, like, actual Greek people in my life. They never sounded anything like Charles Shaughnessy. But I digress. Huge fan of his portrayal of Victor Cassadine. The show needs a villain. The show has to have a villain. I don't know where they go now that their number one villain is gone. I mean, you look around, Selena Wu, no, I'm not convinced that she could be that person and fill that role. Other than that, I mean, you've got Mason, who's really only there, hit and miss. I don't see him. I don't know unless you make Valentine bad again, which, I mean, I think at that point that ship has sailed. Like, there's no turning him back unless something drastic happened. So I don't know where you go on who the next big villain is going to be for General Hospital. But yeah, I was definitely sad to see that Victor Cassadine was gone. I thought Charles Shaughnessy did an amazing job in that role. And yeah, I don't know. Where do they go from here? What's next for the Cassadine family? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Where do we go from here? When is Nicholas coming back? Which, by the way, he's still alive, folks. Nicholas is still out there somewhere. He's coming back. We don't know who it's going to be. What happens when he does come back? Is Nicholas going to take that spot as the number one villain? He might. He might fill those shoes. Depending on who they get to portray the role, it could very well happen. So, moving on, we've got Michael pulling the plug on going after Sonny. I said a while back that Michael really didn't think all this through from the beginning. He acted like a child who, you know, he didn't act like somebody who is an adult dealing with an adult situation, right? Like, yes, I realize Sonny is pretty much the only father you've known, but you still, like, you're a grown man, Michael. Why does it bother you so much that after being gone for so long, Sonny comes back and he chose Nina over your mom? Like, yeah, you could be like, hey, the guy's just a dick. I'm sorry. Like, I'm pissed off at you. But when does going, I'm pissed off at you for choosing this woman over my mother, to, I'm going to bring you down, I'm going to turn you into the feds, I'm going to see you go to prison for the rest of your life? When do you go from A to Z without thinking about everything in between that? Not thinking about your sisters, not thinking about your family, not thinking about your wife now, not thinking about anything else except your own childish feelings in this situation. Yeah, you're entitled to be pissed off about it. You're entitled to feel a certain way, but dude, like, either, you know, stay mad privately or just get the hell over it. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but now he's got Dex involved, and then he just pulls the rug out from under him. What do you think Sonny's going to do if he finds out what Dex has been up to? He's done. He's swimming in the harbor. You know, you'll be lucky if you ever find his body again. So you really put Dex in a bad position. At this point, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where Michael goes, where Dex goes. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it now while talking about it, and it's just a really weird situation. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think Michael should ultimately do? Should he forgive Sonny and, like, be a grown-up about the situation and go, hey, you're still my father. I hate what you did, but, dude, you're still my dad at the end of the day. I love you, and, you know, that's it. I'm not happy with your decision, and I'm not going to support it. Fine. That's what you do as a grown-up. You don't sit here and go, oh, I'm going to act like a 5-year-old who just left my mommy and I'm going to send you to prison forever because of it. Like, dude, grow up. Now you've got somebody else involved and his life's on the line. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen to Joss if Sonny finds out that she knew that they were working against Sonny the whole time? I mean, it's not like Sonny's going to have Joss whacked, but I mean, still, you're tearing up a family over your own childish, petulant feelings about the whole situation. So, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think Dex goes from here? Is he just going to work for Sonny full time and say, hey, this is it? And if that's the case, does Michael say, hey, do you? Or does he say, hey, I own you. I know everything. I can rat you out in half a second. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Let me know what you think on that one. Trina's going through with a DNA test, which, I mean, we knew eventually was going to happen, right? We knew she would, once she kind of got over the shock of everything, we knew she would go with the DNA test. I still don't know which way it would go. Part of me really kind of hopes that Taggart's actually the father, and then Curtis just slides into being a stepdad, and now he and Trina are closer. But now you've got Curtis over here playing all smoochy face with Jordan behind Portia's back. And so now this thing, I mean, of course, in typical soap fashion, it's turned into a huge cluster, but I don't know what happens with Curtis. Does Curtis just say, screw it? If he finds out that Taggart's really Trina's father, does he say, hey, I'm going to take the WSB deal and I'm out of here? You know, I'll annul my marriage to Portia and I got to get out of here. I can't handle this being here in Port Charles. It could happen. Who knows? So we'll see. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Portia, with Curtis, with Jordan, with Trina? Who is the father? Can we get Maury? Can we get is Maury? No, Maury. We can't. You know, we can't get the envelope with the "You are the father." No, we can't get him on the phone. Okay, never mind. Maybe we'll work on that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the father is. Again, I hope it's Taggart. Wouldn't surprise me if it's Curtis, since Taggart isn't a full-time character anymore. But I don't know. We'll see. So just kind of running through few quick things, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. Esme has a job now. Good for her. Still don't know what's going to happen there. I think she's going to end up being... she might come between Spencer and Trina at some point. Maybe Spencer, while he's still scheming, thinks he needs to pretend to be into Esme and get close to her to get the baby from her. I don't know. Just read a rumor the other day that Esme apparently is going to fall for Austin. So who knows? Esme's got a job. Good for you. Glad to see her contributing. I'm just waiting for your memory to come back. That's all I'm worried. I'm just sitting over here waiting. It's going to come back, folks. Her memory's coming back at some point. And you know she's not going to let anybody in on it. And who knows what's going to happen when she gets her memory back. Will she become the old Esme? Will she stay the new Esme? Will she be a hybrid of both? Who knows? I guess we'll kind of see. Our last thing I want to touch on real quick, and again, thank you all, everybody, for sticking with me, for staying with the show, staying subscribed. Over the last 30 days, I've given you no reason to, and I appreciate, believe me, it means the world to me that you've all stood by while I've dealt with my stuff, over here on my own. Thank you so much. I will repay that kindness to you. I will keep coming back and doing the show the way I did before on a regular basis. Because I enjoy it. I love interacting with all of you. I love sharing my thoughts on this show. Believe me, my wife is tired of hearing me rant about this show on a daily basis. So it's good to have somebody to come on and just get it all out and share, my feelings on everything with you all. So again, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. If you haven't already, I'm going to ask you to subscribe again. Last 30 days, I've given you no reason to subscribe. If you want to wait a couple of more shows, I totally understand, and I appreciate any support you give me on this show.